Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm with NV Board Gaming, and today I'm going to be starting my top 100 games of all time. For this portion of my top 100, it will just be me. So the way we've decided to do it is that Nick and I will be doing our top 100 games of all time, and then when we get to our top 50, Samantha and Vic are going to jump in and do their top 50 games of all time, and then we will all kind of come together for our top 10s and the most important creme de la creme of games together and do kind of a four-way top 10 list there. So let me just start off by saying this will be my first top 100 that I've ever done. I have done I think this is my first top 100. I might have done it previously. I can't really remember. I have rated a lot of games before in the past, but I never really held on to them. I can tell you what games were my number one games in the past, but this will be my first real official top 100 games of all time. So I will just jump right into it. For this video, I'm going to be doing 100 through 76 because I know you're probably more excited to hear about what those top 50, top 20, top 10 games are going to be. So we have decided to kind of do these earlier videos, more quantity in each one of them. So this will be 100 through 76, and then we will do 75 through 51, and then start doing them in 10 increments. Anyway, let me just jump right in to my top 100 games of all time. So, starting with number 100 is Azul. Azul is a really nice, abstract, beautiful game with these acrylic tiles that you are going to be drafting from the different factories and trying to fill up these different rows and getting them placed out on your board. And as you are placing them, you're going to get points for how many are in the continuous row or column. And then if you get all of a certain color, you'll get extra bonus points for those as well. And this is a great little abstract. So this is the base game. I have not played the other alterations of Azul, although I have heard really good things and I have seen videos on them and they look really fun. There's just been so many games to play that I haven't gotten to them yet. But Azul is my number 100. Number 99, my number 99 is a new game from this year, 2021, and that is the game 10 by AEG. This game was actually quite a surprise for me. It wasn't something that I thought was going to be very enticing. I did like the design team since it's from the exact same design team that made Point Salad, and that is a game that I thoroughly enjoy, but wasn't sure if this was going to be right up my alley. After playing it, really enjoyed it. We did do a review on that. I don't know if that's going to be out before this video comes up or not, but whenever it does come available, go check it out, see our thoughts on 10. It's a great little card game. Go check it out. My number 98 is a party game that actually won the Spiel des Jahres, and that is Just One. I really have enjoyed this game. This is a great game. If you have, it plays up to 7 players. It's really easy, really simple. You're all working together to try and guess the word that is on the card, and everybody is giving these one-word clues on these easels. You share the clues with one another. Only the guesser cannot see them, and if there are any duplicates, then they get erased and they do not get shared with the person that has to guess what the word is. And it can get really funny, and just it's interesting to see how people's minds go in different areas when they're given different clues. And although to everybody who's giving clues it seems very obvious, it might not be obvious to the person that's guessing. So great little party game. Just One, my 98. Number 97 is a game that I expect to see on Nick's list, and I know he is excited for the follow-up. So my number 97 is Skulk Hollow. This is a two-player game where one player plays a big kind of like elemental guardian in this fantasy world, and they are fighting against a tribe of fox, where they have multiple little tiny meeples that are running around, jumping onto these big creatures, and they're trying to, take away different abilities and doing damage to different parts of their body so that they can't do certain actions. And it's a really exciting game as you're moving around the board. It gives me a very much of a Shadow of the Colossus kind of feel, if you've ever been familiar with that video game. So I expect this one will be on Nick's list. We'll have to see, because I know he is also really interested in the follow-up game, which is going to be Mall Peak. That is also one that I am pretty interested in as well. So number 97 is Skulk Hollow. My next one is number 96, a game that came out earlier this year. It was a Kickstarter, and that is Lawyer Up. I really like this. Is another two-player game where one player is playing the defendant and the other is the prosecutor, and you are trying to play cards to match symbols in order to sway jurors to kind of vote for your side. And depending on the juror, it might be harder or easier for you to sway them. And I really like the different combination of cases, even in the base game. If you have the art case and then you have the murder case, it's really interesting. But I do also like the kind of like the Godfather case, and then you have the witch trials. Just adds even more to an already great game. So my number 96 is Lawyer Up. My number 95 is actually one of my favorite games to play solo, and is one that you can just play as a regular game, but also has like a campaign mode, and that is Oh My Goods. Oh My Goods is a great little game where you are flipping over these cards, and you are going to be using these resources and kind of using raw materials to create different goods. And each round is going to be a little different because you only go until there are, on the cards they have like these little half suns, and once you get 2 half suns, it's a whole day and the day is over. But as you're flipping over those, you're going to get more and more materials to be able to use in order to kind of trigger these buildings. And so you, towards the end of the game, you're building up all this engine and trying to really make these different buildings work together and create some really awesome things. And I really like that they have the expansions, which is a little campaign where you're actually going through like a little story. And it's a really great game, one that I love to play solo. I love to play with other people. It's a little card game, great game. Number 95, Oh My Goods. Number 94 is actually a game that was introduced to us by Nick and Vic, and we actually ended up doing a review with them, and I really, really liked this game, and that is Furnace. Man, I am going to be trying to get a copy of this game just because I like it that much. This game replaces Century Spice Road for me. I love the little, bidding out on the cards, claiming you're getting compensated if you don't have the highest bid. And I love the player powers. Definitely go check out a review on that one. Such a great game. Not what I expected at all. By looking at the box cover, you think it's going to be a heavier Euro kind of game, and it's really not. It's again one of these games where you're getting these raw materials and you're turning them into other things and eventually getting victory points for them. Such a good game. Furnace. Go check that one out. It's a great, great game. My number 94. My number 93 is Tiny Towns. Now, Tiny Towns is a great little game where you are literally going to have different buildings every single time you play, and you're going to be using these cubes as there's different ways you can use either a little deck of cards and it's going to tell you what cubes to take, or there's like a master builder and you go around and people are going to be saying what kind of material they want to use for that round, and you're going to be placing them in your little grid, and you're going to be trying to put them in like little Tetris shapes. And once you complete the correct shape, you're going to be able to take those cubes off and replace it with a building that is going to have different abilities and score you points in different ways. And the game ends once you can no longer put any cubes or any buildings out onto your board. And at the end of the game, you're going to get points for those buildings, but then you're also going to lose points for any empty spaces that you have on your board. So it's a great little game. My number 93, Tiny Towns. 92 is an evergreen game, a classic, one that I will always cherish and love and probably will always keep in my collection, and that is Ticket to Ride. I put all the Ticket to Rides together in this one. If I had to choose my favorite, it would definitely be Ticket to Ride United Kingdoms. It is such a good game. I love the different expansions and standalone games that they have with them, even if you're playing Germany, Europe, US. I haven't played Poland, but I would love to be able to play that one. If you're playing Nordic countries, they're all so good. They each add their own little element into to change the game up. Really, really like this game. Easy for new gamers to get into, but still so engaging to be able to keep a veteran gamer involved, and so I really like Ticket to Ride, my number 92. Number 91 is a BoardGameTables.com game, and that is On Tour. On Tour is a game where it's a flip and write game where you are going to be essentially planning out a band's traveling tour, right? So you are a band and you are trying to plot out where your next tour is going to be using different numbers, and you are going to be following these numbers in ascending order, trying to visit as many states or cities as you can, and you're going to get points for every single one that you visit, and you'll get even bonus points depending on how you place the numbers. If you place them in a specific city based on the cards that come out. Very thinky game, super simple, but towards the end you're gonna be like, oh man, it gets a little bit, brain burnery because you're trying to make sure you leave yourself some options. But as you're playing the game, the board just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And so, great game, On Tour. My number 90 is actually a game that, it was the very first board game that Samantha had ever bought because she loves Egyptian games, and that is Emote. Emote, you have your own little sled and you're collecting these, blocks, or they're stone blocks that you are putting on ships and sailing to different parts of the board. And each section has multiple layers, so it's almost like a little, there's like 4 or 5 different sections, and you can kind of switch them out. They have different ones that you can play to kind of change the game up and make it a little bit more replayable. But you have that give and take of like, I got to be able to get stone to be able to put them out because it might run out, but then you also want to sail the ship, and you can control a ship depending on how many stones are on it, and so you might want to try to send your opponent to an area that they don't want to go, all the while trying to make sure that you go to the spots that you want to, because you're going to get points for building an obelisk, building a pyramid, maybe you're building, or you're going to the market, or if you even have like the expansion, there's a chariot race and all these different things. So my number 90 is Emote. My next one, number 89, is also a game that was introduced to us by Nick and Vic. This is one that I know, I almost guarantee you this will be very high on Vic's list. I anticipate this to be very high on Vic's list, and that is Carpe Diem. Such a good game. Another one that is on my short list of games to get. Really love, trying to go around this little like rondel, getting the different tiles, you're placing them on your board, allowing you to do different things, trying to get those resources and make sure that you're able to score points. It is a really fun, really thinky, great strategy game. Love it. So much fun, especially after they fixed some of the issues with the new edition. Really, really like that game. Carpe Diem, my number 89. Number 88 is my first Bruno Cathala game. There will be probably quite a few of those on this list. And my number 88 is Micropolis. This is a nice, a really great game where you are building your own little ant colony, and you are going to be spending these little soldier ants or taking these. There's going to be a row of tiles, and you either take the free one or you're going to spend these little ants in order to take ones further down the row. And you're trying to build this ant colony with galleries in them that are going to have a number of different kinds of ants that when you place them are going to give you special abilities, or they're going to have different kinds of fruit, and you want unique fruit in a single gallery, because the more fruit you have in a gallery that are different, you're going to score points for that. And so it's a really cool little game, great production, one that I really like to be able to play with new gamers, and I believe it plays up to 6 players, so it's a super great game. My number 88, Micropolis. Number 87 is a game that I expect to be on Samantha's list, probably pretty high, and that is Takanoko. Takanoko is a tile placement game where you are building up this bamboo garden, and there is a panda running around eating this bamboo. It has great table presence. You have these bamboo shoots that are coming up out of the ground. You have this gardener that's going around planting more bamboo. You're trying to irrigate everything so you get the right colors to grow, that then you can hope to get the panda over there and to eat it if you're trying to get different scoring cards, or maybe you're trying to have certain tiles in a certain layout to get points. So a really cool, simple game. You're just rolling a dice and doing whatever the dice tells you to do. Super fun game. Takanoko, my number 87. My number 86 is one game from the Mask trilogy, and that is Mexica. Mexica is an area control game where you have this board, and what you're going to be doing for a portion of the game is where you're going to be carving up different sections of the board, and then you're going to be competing over each of these sections by placing these really nice. I have the Super Meeple version of it. It has these like resin towers or pyramids or temples that you're going to be putting out and trying to control each of those regions, and you'll get the bigger the region, the more points there are. And so it's a really interesting area control game. It definitely can get a little intense, and I like that in the game, but great quality components. My number 86, Mexica. My number 85 is my second Bruno Cathala game already in this list alone. I have at least 2 so far, and that is Raptor. Raptor is a 2-player game where one player is the scientist and the other player is a mother raptor and her babies, and the scientists are trying to capture the babies or tranquilize the mother raptor. Meanwhile, the mother raptor is trying to help at least 3 of her babies escape the board. And so there is fire that can be thrown out onto the board. It has these like 3D rocks and stuff, but fire can be thrown out on the board by the scientist, or the mother raptor can attack the scientist, and she's trying not to get shot. But you're playing these cards, and depending on the numbers that you play, whoever plays the lowest number is going to be able to take the action on that card, and whoever plays the highest number is going to get to do a certain number of basic actions depending on the difference in the number of cards. So if someone plays a 5 and someone plays a 9, the player that plays a 9 is going to get the difference. So they're going to get 4 of these like basic actions to take. Meanwhile, the person that plays the 5 is going to be able to actually do what the card has on there. So really interesting game, very kind of meta when you're playing kind of your opponent and trying to think about what they're going to do. So my number 85 is Raptor. Number 84 is a new game from this year as well. So another new game from this year that I really enjoyed. I think has gotten some not so great love out there, and that is Dice Miner. I really like this. It's a quick little filler game. where you are going to be drafting dice off of a mountain, and every single round you're going to get more and more and more dice, and you're going to be getting magic dice to do re-rolls, and you're trying to get treasure, and you're trying to get dragons and pitchfork, and like there's these hazard dice. It's a really cool, quick little game. Love it. Definitely go check it out if you have not already. And that is my number 84, Dice Miner. My number 83 is Blue Lagoon. This is another great game that you should check out, to where you have this board, and players are going to be placing their little tokens, kind of carving up the board into different regions, and they're trying to collect these different pieces, and creating, and they're going to be putting out little huts, and there's 2 different phases at it. So you're going to be putting out these huts, and then you're going to be starting from the huts. It's a really cool little game, super quick to play, super quick to teach, but there is that, I don't want them to get to that piece before I do kind of thing. So I really, really enjoy Blue Lagoon. My number 82 is my first Stonemaier game on my list, and this is one that I actually would very much recommend to new players, especially if you are looking to get into legacy games, and that is Charterstone. Charterstone is a great legacy game for maybe you're trying to look into getting to legacy games. Even if you are a new gamer, check out Charterstone. It's a great worker placement game. The story's not really there, but I really like the mechanics and how slowly the game adds more and more layers. Really like how it's done, and even after you play it, you can buy a recharge pack, flip over the board, and play it again. Great game, Charterstone, my number 82. My number 81 is a gorgeous dice game called Sagrada. This is a really beautiful game where you are using dice to create these gorgeous painted glass windows, or stained glass windows. But it can get really stressful because you might need a certain color or a certain number in order to fill a spot. And there's all these different placement rules because you are trying not to leave any spaces open on your board. And you have these little tokens that you can spend to do these special actions, but every time they're used, they get more and more expensive. And it's got a nice little snake dice drafting mechanic in the game. Really, really fun game. Gorgeous game to play. Highly recommend it. Sagrada, my number 81. My number 80 is from a design team that I had actually already mentioned, and I had already kind of hinted at this earlier, and that is Point Salad, another AEG game from the same team that made the game 10. Point Salad, such a great game. I've taught this game to so many people, and almost all of them have gone out and bought a copy of the game as soon as they've played it, and ones that they play with just them and their spouse, so they just enjoyed to have a relaxing night playing a game. It's really nice. You're either taking vegetable cards or you're taking scoring cards, but you have to be careful because those scoring cards you might want might not be out there by the time it comes back around to you, because when people are taking these vegetable cards, the score cards are getting flipped over and they become vegetables. So it's a really quick little filler game, and that is Point Salad. My number 79 is a 2-player only game that is pretty highly loved, I would say, and that is Targi. Targi is a really awesome game where you have these little people that you are these little meeples that you're going to be placing around the border of the board is kind of made up of cards. It's all made up of cards, and the cards on the inside are going to be changing because they're going to get claimed based on where your 3 guys intersect. So you're going to be placing around the border, and depending on where you place, there's going to be an intersection for where 2 of your people meet. Okay, and wherever those meet, you're going to be able to get those cards or do those things or get those resources. And there is one kind of pawn, I can't remember what they call it, if they call it a robber or not, but you can't, place them there, and they kind of make things a little bit more difficult or whatnot. But it is a really, really fun game as well. A great 2-player game. That is my number 79, Targi. My number 78 is one of the first worker placement games I ever played, and one that I really like, and one that I always recommend to somebody who is looking to try a worker placement game, and that is Stone Age. I really love this game where you are, you're in the Stone Age, you have a set number of workers, and you can make more workers, but you also have to make sure that you feed them, and you're going out and you are trying to get gold and brick and stone and wood and food to build possibly different buildings, and claiming different cards that are on the board, because you can get points in so many different ways, whether it be building buildings or getting these special cards. And it's just such a fun game, and depending on how many workers you place in each spot, you're going to be chucking these dice, and you have these tools that you can use to help modify your dice to make them a little bit better. And so yeah, my number 78 is Stone Age. My number 77, so we're coming to the end of this one. My number 77 is a racing game. The first of the racing games that I have on my list, and that is Snowtails. Snowtails was not one that I thought that I would enjoy very much. It was a game that Samantha had found because she was really looking for dog games. She's like, where are all the good dog games? I can't find any good dog games. And she found Snowtails. We were able to pick it up off of, it was like the secondhand market on the BGG from somebody. We were able to get it, and I ended up liking it a lot. I think I like it more than her, so I'm not sure if it'll show up on her list or not. But Snowtails is a great game where you're kind of drifting around these turns, and there's these tight chasms, and there's like almost like a speed limit to where you might be going too fast into a turn and you could damage your sled, or there's trees you could run into, and it's just so enticing and so exciting to play because you can feel that tension of you only have so many cards in hand if you have damage, and you're playing different cards to your break, and you want to try to make sure they drift a certain way. It does have a little bit of math into it, but I love this game. Number 77, Snowtails. And to finish out this video, my number 76, I'm trying to remember now. I think this is a game from this year. I think it came out right at the beginning of this year, or it might have been last year. I honestly cannot remember off the top of my head. And that is Canvas. This is going to be a game I definitely think is going to show up on Samantha's top 50. Canvas is a beautiful, beautiful game. Gorgeous production. You can even hang the box on the wall and it looks like a canvas painting. But in this game, you are going to be spending these tokens, or taking the first one in the row. And they are these transparent cards that you are going to be layering to create a painting. And what you are trying to do is each game you're going to have different scoring cards that each one is going to want something different. They might want multiples of a certain symbol, or they might want every single symbol on there, or they might want, it just depends. There's so many different variations in the game. It's so much replayability because of the different scoring cards that are available. But for me, I just love to play the game because I love to create the different paintings. I love just the components in the game. I have the deluxe version, and you have the wooden components, and you have, and the expansion is coming out. It's such a relaxing game. Really enjoy my number 76, Canvas. Whew. Okay, so that was 25 games right there. So I tried to go through them, not too quick, hopefully not too long. If you stuck with me this long, thank you for watching. And my next one is going to be another 25 games. So Please like, comment, subscribe, click that little bell icon, and that way you get a notification every single time we post a video. And I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy, this is my first top 100 games of all time. It was definitely a fun experience to do, and I'm looking forward to going through the rest of the list and even seeing what everybody else has on their lists. So let me know what you think of some of the games that are on my list. Should they be on my top 100? Should they be higher? Should they not be there at all? I'm just kind of curious where some of these might fall for you. I know I've got some that are from this year, and is it like a cardinal sin to have games from this year already, all the way up to, in the 70s? I don't know. We'll see how high a 2021 game gets in my list. I try not to be cult of the new. But anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.